right, well, we will kick this off here. Thank you, everybody who is here and who is joining us after the fact. I would like to welcome, on behalf of the Metro YPN Committee, Julie Frantz, who is the owner of Everyday Etiquette. And Julie conducts presentations on manners and social skills at the St. Paul Hotel and a variety of other locations. She has a Bachelor of Science degree in broadcasting and a minor in biblical studies. She has worked in television, radio, fundraising, promotion, and public relations.
Julie is an international speaker. She's appeared on numerous TV and radio programs and is a contributor on the subject of etiquette in various publications and a seminar speaker for Fortune 100 companies.
She has received training under noted experts and authors June Hines Moore and Lydia Ramsey, and has also completed the Dale Carnegie Seminar. She received her tea certification through Irene's Teas, and in early 2008, she fulfilled the requirements of a Tea 101 masterclass conducted by Elmwood Inn Fine Teas of Perryville, Kentucky.
And since 1998, Julie has been researching in the United States and Europe and instructing others in the principles of manners and proper etiquette. Her teaching experience includes large and small scale businesses, elementary and high schools, special interest groups, churches, restaurant staff, and management teams. The mission of Everyday Etiquette is to bring an awareness of civility to our families, schools, businesses, and communities. So welcome. Thank you for being here. We're so excited.
Thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. I certainly wish I was there in person, but I have learned that Zoom works very well. I am going to be speaking to you for 1 hour. I will save a few minutes at the end so that if you have questions, you can feel free to ask those questions. Also, Luke has my information, so if you ever want to email me, phone me, please feel free. Once individuals have taken my class, you can reach out to me anytime and I'll try to answer your questions. So I really do appreciate the invitation. A delight to be here today. I have to tell you a quick funny story on how, from my background, did I get to teaching etiquette, because it is kind of interesting. And I have been doing this now 23 years. So this truly is my love, my passion. But I stepped out of the work world to raise my two very zippy sons. And when I say zippy, in today's world, they would have medicated them. And I like to cook too. So mysteriously, at dinner time, I would end up with 7 little boys sitting around my table. And, you know, all was going well and we're eating. And pretty soon it's like all these body functions, passing gas, belching, they're shoveling food into their mouth. I mean, things that were just, and then talking about inappropriate things. And I'm like, wow, what is going on? And I realized that those little ones that came and were polite, were respectful, they used manners. They said, thank you, Mrs. Frantz. Mr. Frantz, how was your day? I would be like, you could just move in here. You're just a little charmer. And so I thought, you know, how are my boys acting when I send them out in the world? Are people like, oh no, the Frantz boys, or are they, oh, the Frantz boys? Well, as a mom, I wanted it to be, oh, the Frantz boys, what a delight. So I promptly went out, bought an etiquette book, nice size etiquette book. And I announced to those little boys around my table, you can come join me any night for supper, but you are going to get just a little etiquette lesson. And so we would learn how to have a conversation, the 3 ways to eat spaghetti, eating American continental. And pretty soon my phone started ringing and parents were saying, Julie, I don't know what you're teaching my child, but I'm seeing a difference. And it was like I had an epiphany that it is true. We are not born with manners. I have a little 18-month-old daughter or granddaughter, and she reminds me that we are born selfish. We are born, it's all about me, and very rude behavior. So I've already announced to my little granddaughter, you will be getting manners lessons, little sweetheart. Her big thing is shoveling food into her mouth. So that's how I started. And again, once I started teaching, I just knew this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I'm really happy to tell you that for 23 years, whoever wants to learn about manners, I'm here, I'm happy to teach. So today, as again, you can see, we have a lot of information that we could go through, but we're going to be focusing specifically on networking, how to make meaningful connections. I have sent in advance, hopefully you all have my book, Etiquette for the Business Professional. Again, this is in great contrast to the etiquette book, and here's the reason why. As I've been teaching in homeschools and other places, I knew most of my students would never pick up that huge etiquette book, but they might read a real bullet point book. And so I write in a very bullet point way where people can just very quickly kind of get the main information there. So we will be using this. I'll tell you what page I'm on, and you can follow along as we zip through this curriculum. So you can actually start by turning to page 6 and 7. Here is a true principle. Good relationships will make your life good, and bad relationships will make your life bad. Now think about that for a moment. Good relationships will make your life good, bad relationships will make your life bad. That is absolutely true, because you can live in a mansion with money piled all around you, but if you do not have deep, meaningful relationships, you will not have a good life. I'm very happy to say that I've been married for 42 years. We're just enjoying life so much after 42 years, have a great relationship with my 2 sons, my daughter-in-laws. And if I lived in a little cabin, my life would be very, very rich because I have rich relationships. It is not about what we amass in life. It's about what we do with our life. How do we give back? And are we connected with other people? So that's a very true principle. Another principle is good manners create good relationships, and good relationships create good business. It's a no-brainer. When you are polite, when you are kind, when you know how to connect with people, you will develop good relationships, and the good relationships will help to develop good business. Why? Because we like doing business with people that we like. And the third principle is, and I just have to stop. Luke, am I looking in the right place?
Yes, you are.
Okay, perfect. It's the configuration is just a little different, and so I wasn't sure if I should look in the corner, but as long as I'm looking straight ahead, that's perfect. Thank you. So the third principle I want to share is this. Rude behavior repels people away. Kind, respectful behavior attracts other people to us. So the key to good relationships is that we eliminate rude behavior in our life, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, because sometimes there's a lot of rude behavior. People don't know it. They just haven't read the book. And so again, we want to eliminate as much as we can so there are no barriers and we can have these great relationships. Theodore Roosevelt said, the single most important ingredient in the formula for success is knowing how to get along with other people. On page 7, if you turn to page 7, you will see a couple of definitions. A couple of the definitions, I'm not going to go through all of them, but 2 that are very important is that all of manners are based on the golden rule. Civility in America, which we are lacking very much, is all based on the golden rule. Another quick side story that's interesting. George Washington, our first president, when he was only 16 years old, he was given a list of 110 rules from a Jesuit priest. And these were all rules of manner. Decorum, how to behave, how to connect with people. And as a 16-year-old, he decided, I need to memorize these, incorporate them, because I want to do something great. And so he memorized them, he used them wherever he could. And of course, we know, did he do something great? Of course, the father of this great nation. So all of manners are based on the golden rule. The golden rule says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Translated, it means as you go through this day, stop and say, how would I like it if somebody said that to me? How would I like it if somebody did that to me? How would I like it if somebody was gossiping about me? And if you don't like it, then don't do it. We have to go through every day treating others as we wish to be treated. Part of that is, and we've all heard our moms tell us this numerous times, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Now that's a tough one, isn't it? Because our mouths really like to run off. We like to let people know just how we're feeling. But I will tell you that in 42 years of marriage, one of the things I constantly repeat to myself is this: Julie, if you can't be kind, be quiet. Don't say it. Don't hurt your husband's feelings. Now, there's nothing wrong with speaking the truth in love. We have to communicate, we have to be transparent, but it's how we say it. Every one of us could probably think of a time where somebody said something so hurtful to us, and it was like a knife in our heart. It just really hurt us. So our words have unbelievable power. Oh, unbelievable. Every day we can either build up, encourage people, help people to flourish, be the best that they can be, or we can tear them down, belittle, be cruel, and literally destroy them. There's a proverb that says life and death are in the power of the tongue, and I'm a firm believer in that. And so if you can't be kind, learn to be quiet, zip your lip, and don't say it. So that's manners. Manners are all based on kindness and respect. That is the most important thing I want to leave with you today. Are we being kind? Are we being respectful? Then we have the word etiquette. And etiquette is a French word originated at the Palace of Versailles. And it basically means a signpost or a ticket. And they started using it in the beautiful Palace of Versailles because people were picking flowers, they were littering, they were, just being super rude and ruining these fabulous gardens. So they put up the ticket saying, be respectful, follow these rules. This book of etiquette are all of the rules that we should learn, we should know in order to operate in a polite society. So again, today you'll learn a few of them. I just want to go back for a moment. I always feel like we all need to be reminded when we talk about good manners, being respectful, being kind. Right now we're really going through kind of cultural wars where people are not feeling validated. They're not feeling respected. And I think if each one of us would just realize, me sitting here, I'm a one of a kind. Luke is there, he's one of a kind. Each one of you, and I can't see all of you, but you are out there. And I want to tell you today, you have a thumbprint unlike anybody else's. You have a DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, unlike anybody else's. Each one of us today, we have been deposited with gifts, talents, and abilities that we are supposed to use, not selfishly, not to amass wealth, but to use to make this world a better place. And at the end of our life, what we want to be able to do is leave a rich heritage that we did indeed make a difference. And so I want to tell you today, if you don't feel valued, there is only one of you, and you are valuable. You've got gifts and talents you haven't even begun to unearth. And so it should be a lifelong process. No matter how old we are, we continue to learn and grow. And what can we do to make this world a better place? So those are a couple of definitions. And now let's kind of get into our topic for today, which is networking. They say that speaking in public is the #1 fear in life. And so some people would rather die than speak in public. Now, those students that have had my classes know that you won't die. You can actually overcome that fear. But if speaking in public is the #1 fear in life, then certainly 3 or 4 on the list has to be walking into a room full of strangers and trying to make meaningful connections. Well, knowledge is power, and the more that you learn, the more that you read, the more that you study things, it will give you an inner confidence to know how to act. And so if you'll remember 3 keywords as you network: prepare, present, and post-event, and then we'll get into the details, those 3 areas, you'll be able to successfully work any room. Networking is defined as the process of making meaningful business connections that are mutually beneficial. So it's not just all about you, but it's mutually beneficial. So the first thing is prepare. If you are a person, I would assume that you're in real estate, so you're pretty comfortable doing a level of networking, dealing with all sorts of people. You probably have an emotional level of dealing with people that many do not. But there still might be some of us that, and even me, you go into a room full of strangers and you're kind of like, okay, well, where do I begin? So part of it is prepare. Get yourself prepared in advance. And here's how you do it. If you're going to a function, you can get a list of those individuals that will be there. And then you should have a very specific purpose and try to identify at least 3 people that you want to build a relationship with and that you're going to seek out during this networking event. And so you can email them in advance, introduce yourself, say, I'm going to be at this event and I look forward to meeting you there. So reach out in advance. You can always take what we call a wing person, but not a cling person. The idea is you don't cling to another person this entire event, because then you're going to just be in your own little circle and not meet people. But it's nice to go knowing somebody. You can kind of separate, but then you do have that person to kind of reconnect with or kind of back you up if need be. So one of the first things you're going to do is get prepared with business cards and professional dress. Books say that you make an impression within the first 3 to 30 seconds that somebody meets you. That's very quick. And it's based on 3 things: how you look, how you act, and how you speak. Now, here's the good news. Every area can be managed. You can learn, you can practice, and you can manage that. And so one of the first things, we do judge a book by its cover. Maybe it's not fair, you say, but we do. We immediately judge a person by the cover, and that's going to involve your dress attire and your grooming. So for starters, be impeccably well groomed. Make sure you've brushed, you've flossed, you've bathed, you smell good. Remember, if you stink, you will repel people away. So you want to have good smells. Talking about good smells, though, don't overdo it with massive amounts of perfume or aftershave, because that can be a little off-putting to people also. So make sure you just have a good, fresh smell when people get next to you. And then we're going to talk about dressing professionally. In business, there is the rule of 12, 12, 12, and 12. And here's what it refers to. From the top of your head, 12 inches down, name tags go on the right side, very close to the shoulder. The reason is that we shake with our right hand, and we will be shaking again soon in America. We shake with our right hand, and so you have a direct line of sight to refresh your memory with my name tag. Do not put name tags in the middle of your chest or in your belly. You are inviting people to look there, and so put it very close to your shoulder on the right. From the top of your head down to the name tag, this is the part of you that people will be mainly focusing on. This is the part that we're going to be looking at. And so you want to make sure that you've checked in a mirror, you don't have spinach in your teeth or something amiss, but that you are impeccably well groomed. The next 12 refers to from the bottom of the floor, 12 inches up. Yes, we do notice what you have on your feet. Now, that's the good thing with Zoom meetings. I'm not having to stand in high heels for an hour or two, but I literally can have little flip-flops on. You don't see them. But if I was there in person, I would make sure that what I had on my feet was in harmony with the rest of the outfit. Make sure shoes are polished, well heeled, that they match the belt, that they're again in harmony with your overall outfit. The next 12 refers to the first 12 steps that you take. They should be with excitement, enthusiasm, and a little quicker pace than normal. And the last 12 refers to the first 12 words out of your mouth. Are they positive? Are they uplifting? If you know the person's name, are you using the person's name? Do not start out with gloom and drear and negativity, because people are repelled from that. So again, we're going to start with the 12, 12, 12, and 12. When we look at business dress, there's actually, I can't go into the details, I don't have time, but in our society, there are actually 6 levels of business dress, not business dress, but overall dress, business dress being one of them. I would suggest that when you go to networking events, it is a great idea to have a suit coat with 2 front pockets. Here's the reason why. You will be taking along your business cards. We'll talk about that. And it's a good idea to have your business cards in your front right pocket. And then as we will learn how to receive cards, you will keep those in your left pocket. They'll be easily accessible, and you'll also have a place to put other people's cards once you receive them. If you turn to page 17, we're going to talk a little bit about 6 rules of business dress. And let's start by saying 3 problem areas that we see in society today, and they are too casual, too sloppy, and too revealing. Too casual. Yes, we love to be comfortable, don't we? But I am telling you, we just got back from a flight from Dallas, Texas. I'm a baby boomer. You can probably tell by looking at me. You know, I'm from a different generation. And when you flew on an airplane, this was an event and you dressed up for it. Oh my word, I never saw so many people get on a plane in their pajamas. It was crazy. So yes, I get it. We like to be comfortable, but you know what? You are making an immediate impression on people, how you have packaged yourself, and you have total control of that. And so there are certain things that you should never have as part of your attire, unless it's very extenuating circumstances. T-shirts, hiking boots, flip-flops, exercise clothes. These are just a few things that typically are not going to be appropriate when you go to a networking event. Then we have too revealing. Overall, less skin is best. In business, we really don't want to see midriffs. We don't want to see super short skirts or huge plunging tops. You want to be known for your brains and not your body. You want people to be listening to what you're saying, not so taken in by what you're wearing. So in general, we always say less skin is best. You want to, again, dress in a very professional manner. And the last area is too sloppy. I do think that people have forgotten how to turn on an iron. And here's the good news. If you know how to work a remote control, you can learn how to iron. There are marvelous books. In fact, we're reading a book right now just on presenting yourself well, and making sure your shirt is ironed is certainly one of them. We notice if your outfit is dirty. We notice if you are missing buttons, that you haven't ironed it, if you've just been slothful in every area. And so take time to take care of yourself, because it means that you do care about yourself and you care about your customers and clients, and you've taken the time to dress to your very best. When you dress as a professional, you will be perceived as a professional. And again, there's many levels that we could go through, but that's just kind of some of the basic. You can read the finer print later on. Better dressed and groomed, again, more points scored. Let me remind you, you do not have to be born beautiful or handsome to be attractive. I believe with all my heart, after teaching this for 23 years, that when you are a kind, respectful, gracious, generous person from the inside, and then you have done what you can to be impeccably well-groomed, it will all radiate out and you will be a very attractive person. Let's talk for a minute about business cards. This is part of the preparation. You're dressing appropriately, and also get your business cards. You should have a case in which you can keep your business cards. It keeps them from getting dirty and bent up. Make sure that all of the information on your card is accurate. It doesn't look professional if you've got numerous lines crossed out. This is your calling card. And if I handed my card to Luke right now, he should be able to immediately learn about me. What is my business? What do I do? What is my name? And so it is our calling card. I know that some people like to think outside of the box. They'll do unusual shapes for business cards. The only trouble is, I see Luke shaking his head. It's very difficult to put those unusual cards in things that are designed for business cards. So I say stick with the standard business card, make sure it's all accurate, and that when people take the card, they know immediately what you do and how to get a hold of you. So have those cards ready. Again, you can keep them in your right pocket so that when people ask for it, you can give it to them. When you ask for a card, or if you receive a business card, treat it with respect. In some cultures, if you were to travel to Pacific Rim countries in particular, you best learn how to treat a business card, because it's a very big deal over there. And you would receive it, you'd stand at a distance, receive it with two hands, you would look at it, you would comment, and you would treat it like it was a precious possession. Too many times we see people take our card, next thing you know, they're flossing their teeth, they're putting it in a wallet, bending it, putting it in their back pocket, and not treating it with a lot of respect. That's where when you receive it, take a look. Lovely, I see you right here in the area. Great, I'll try to reach out to you. And then you very carefully put it in a case or carefully put it in your pocket. There is more information about that, business cards on page 20. So if you look there, you can see page 20. Part of preparation is, let's get rid of some habits that distract. So I have quite a list here. They're not in the book, so you'll just have to listen, and you will probably agree as I go through these. Yep, I've seen people do that. Yes, it's very irritating. Habits that distract. Number one, chewing gum. The only difference between a cow chewing cud and a person chewing gum is the intelligent look on the face of a cow. A cow must chew his cud, and there is no reason in the world for a human being to look like they're chewing on a huge wad of cud. It is very unprofessional, it's distracting. Here is the rule of etiquette regarding gum. Yes, you can put it in your mouth to freshen your breath, but then get a tissue, put it into a tissue, and dispose of it properly. And don't go anywhere in public chewing on gum. Number two is nail biting. If you're constantly having your fingers in your mouth, biting your nails, figure out what's making you nervous and eliminate that. Otherwise, a rule of etiquette is we never, ever have our fingers in our mouth. You don't use them to dig something out of a back molar. I do dining skills class, would love to do one with you in the future, a fun class. You don't use your fingers to lick them off. Use a napkin to wipe them off. And so basically your hands, your fingers should never be up by your mouth. Poor grooming. We've already talked about that. It costs really nothing to just practice excellent grooming. Do not pick your teeth, nose, or your ears. And I've seen some very creative ways how people do clean their teeth or clean their ears. No, you don't use the other end of a pen. You don't use a straw as dental floss. All of those things are what we call private grooming. And so you would step into a restroom and take care of those, hopefully, before you leave the house. Combing your hair or scratching your head. Sometimes people can have a nervous habit where they just keep reaching up, scratching their head. Again, watch yourself, try to eliminate that. And we do not comb hair in public. Again, find a private place and comb your hair in private. Cracking your finger joints, maybe it feels good for you. The rest of us, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. Do not do it, a very irritating habit. Drumming fingers on furniture, that can be just a nervous habit. Try to eliminate those. You want to appear as being very calm and confident. Coughing without a tissue. Now, I find it interesting that they have been teaching in the schools to cough into your arm. And I do a lot of teaching in the schools, and I will tell you, here's what happens. The child lifts their arms, coughs, and it goes flying, shooting right out from under their arm. I've now seen with COVID that they're going back to have a tissue, cough into the tissue, and if it's disposable, throw it away and then sanitize or wash your hands. I prefer that method. I think every lady and gentleman should have some sort of a tissue with them, and that you can turn away, touch your nose, cough, whatever, and then put it away or throw it away. But I just think this allows way too many germs to escape. Doesn't look very professional to be raising your arm, especially during a very professional event. Sprawling, sit up straight. Your back should always be straight. Walk with good posture. Sit, stand with your hands resting at your side. Cursing. Cursing should be eliminated from any business professional. Here's the reason why. There's a couple of reasons. First of all, we do think, do you lack intelligence that you cannot come with the correct word to really express your feelings? You, as real estate professionals, also work with a plethora of people coming from various religious backgrounds. And I will tell you personally, I'm very offended when people use God's name in vain, because to me, that is a holy person. And so, again, I'm just saying, you want to eliminate that because you don't want that to be a barrier of somebody actually purchasing a house from you. Having a bad attitude, again, we're repelled from people with negative attitudes. We are attracted to people that are positive, that are upbeat, and that are kind. And then loud talking, just speak in a normal voice. All right, so you're prepared, right? You've got your business cards, you know what you're going to wear. Second thing in making successful networking is present yourself. Present yourself. You want to arrive early or right on time at any networking event, and you don't want to be the last to leave. You want to be there first for a couple of reasons. You will be fresh, and then these 3 people that you identified, you are going to be able to connect with them before the evening gets away from you, you're not able to find them. And so you are going to, first of all, before you get in there, let's deal with your cell phone. We live in a culture that thinks that the cell phone is part of their body. It's in their hand all the time, and they can't disconnect from it. This is a really important time that you disconnect from your phone. And if you have a hard time, sometimes I say, leave it in the car if necessary. If you can't do that, at least put it on the silent mode and put it out of sight. Don't carry it with, because right away you're communicating, I'm an important person, I might be getting an important phone call, and so at any moment I'm going to disconnect with you in person and connect with my cell phone. And it's actually the opposite. The person that we are speaking to face gets our undivided attention. So put the phone away. If you are expecting a phone call, then you would say, excuse me, please, and you will step away to a quiet area. Please do not hold everybody hostage by your conversation, speaking loudly on a cell phone. It is the #1 area of rude manners in America. So you've dealt with the phone. When you step in, they're going to have the name tags. Put a name tag on, because it's going to help people to jumpstart conversations. So write your first and last name and the business that you represent. Print clearly so that people can easily see what your name is. And then again, it goes on the right shoulder. When you step in, step to the right of the room. Don't cause a traffic jam, but you're going to kind of get out of the way. Why? Because you're going to look for those people that you want to connect with. Now, of course, there's always food and drink at every networking event, but here's the rule. Network first, eat later. You'll use that as an exit line, and drink alcohol probably never at these events, only because you want to be at the top of your game. Now, I've talked to numerous individuals and they say, I really need a couple of drinks just to calm me down and help me be more friendly. No, you really don't. You can learn social skills and practice them, and that's the best way to be, because you want to be on top of your game. So we're going to meet first. So we've identified those people. They haven't come. You're kind of waiting. You don't want to be standing, hovering at the door forever. So then the next person to look for is a person that is standing alone. And they will welcome you going over, and you have what we call a tagline. Good morning. My name is Julie Frantz. I have a business called Everyday Etiquette. Now, in pre-COVID times, so as we talk about meeting and greeting, I will allude to the fact that we have special precautions we take during COVID, but my understanding is a lot of these bans will be lifted, and hopefully very soon we can once again shake hands, get a little bit closer, and connect more freely with people. So just keep that in mind. I will try to kind of talk about the distinctions. So we're going to pretend COVID is done. And so I would go up, I would extend my hand to this person standing alone, get their name, and then jumpstart a conversation. So again, you're going to want to have that tagline very quickly, where you just say your name and who you are with. If you turn over to pages 9, 10, and 11, we're then going to talk about making a good first impression using the 6 S's of meeting and greeting. And I will hold them up to you, and then I'll talk about each one of them. The 6 S's are: if you are seated, you stand. Number 2, you step forward, you smile, you see, you shake, and you say. And again, I'm going to go through each one of these. It shows respect to the other person. If you are seated and somebody approaches me, that I immediately stand up, because it shows that I am showing honor to that person that is approaching me. And if they are coming from a distance, I don't just stand there and wait for them to get to me, but I will literally step forward to meet them. Now, I'm talking about business etiquette. There are rules that change a little bit in social, but for the most part, from Emily Post days, where a woman would remain seated, she would ascertain the level of this person, the prominence. Those days are over. Now, a person is a person. We show respect to everybody, and so you stand up and you step forward. The third thing you do is smile. Smiling is the universal code of friendliness. Out of everything that you put on during the day, the smile is the most beautiful thing that you put on. Why? Because when you smile, you are again conveying approachability, that you can approach me. If you have a look on your face like you're ready to bite somebody's head off, people will stay away. Just think about a baby. When a baby smiles, we can't resist them. We're just right over by that baby, talking and smiling back. And so put a smile on your face. It will make you appear warm, friendly, and approachable. The C refers to make eye contact. We have to practice this because, again, we live in a culture with cell phones, multitasking, and people are having such difficulty to just give another human being their rapt attention. And that's just such a wonderful word to describe it, where you are just saying, I am listening. I'm listening with my mind, with my ears, I'm all in. The good Lord has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. We'll always listen twice as much as we talk. But the C refers to make eye contact. Don't look at your phone. Don't look around the room. Who are you going to hook up with next? But I am looking and giving you my attention. Don't be creepy about it where you're staring at them and they feel uncomfortable. But I can look anywhere from the top of your head down to your name tag and then back in the face region. If somebody does have an imperfection on their face, do not stare at it and do not ask what happened to your face. Just let it go and try to look in other regions. The next one is shake. In America, and this started when we landed on the East Coast and we traveled westward, they initially they would carry a pistol by their right hand and they would pull their gun and say, are you a friend or a foe? Well, we decided that's not a real friendly way to meet people. So we began to extend our right hand. The open right hand in America says, I come in friendship. I want to meet you. I want to be your friend. I am not armed. I won't hurt you. And so that's a beautiful symbolism, isn't it? And that's why I don't go along with people that say we should stop shaking hands. Baloney. We need to get back to shaking hands. We need human contact. We need to connect with people. And so the handshake. Right hand, wish I was there to really demonstrate, but we will meet web to web. When you touch that person, it will only be palm to palm. Do not put another hand on top. Don't touch that person anywhere, but it will be palm to palm. Your hand is upright. Do not saw, do not flap, and do not tat. So we have a handshake, a good grip. Do not do a finger shake where you wiggle somebody's finger, and then do not go in for a vice grip where you're showing them dominance. What you're doing is pinching their fingers and reducing them to tears, not because they're so happy to see you, they're in pain. And so just a firm shake, the same as if you were holding a tumbler of water or a bottle of water. The handshake should last anywhere from 3 to 6 seconds, 2 to 3 pumps. Whoever extends their hand first wins. And when you're done with the greeting, then you can withdraw your hand. Some people want to be hanger-oners. They keep shaking, and talk. And so again, just start to pull back. Super quick lesson on the handshake. And the last thing we do is say. There are 3 things that we say. Hello, my name is. And then I will listen for your name and I will repeat your name. And there's 3 reasons why I repeat your name. First of all, to make sure that I heard it correctly. So I will repeat it back. Make sure I heard it correctly. You at this point can very politely correct me if I have not pronounced it right. Second reason is it will help us to remember their name. And the third reason is, Dale Carnegie said, the sweetest sound to anybody's ears is the sound of their own name. And so again, you're going to want to listen, repeat it back so that you help remember it. So those are the rules for meeting others. On page 10, I want to go through really quickly. I'm looking at my time. 6 rules for introductions. Introductions do differ whether you are socially or business. Here is the overall most dominant rule. Do not allow two people to stand there for extended periods or to be part of a dinner party or a conversation without making the attempt to introduce one person to another. So even if you forget the rules, make the attempt. You're giving a gift to another person of introducing them. Socially, we determine who do I show honor to. So if I'm doing the introductions, I have a man, a woman, the same age. In social situations, we show honor to the woman. If I have an elderly gentleman and a young child, we show honor to the elderly. I start with them. If we have a person of government or a pastor that has kind of a standing in our community, then I would show honor to them. Now we go to business, and in business, it is what we call gender neutral. We don't go by male, female, even age, but it is based on rank. So in business, if you have a CEO and a new intern, you give honor to the CEO. If you have a client and a CEO, we now give honor to the client because they're bringing lucrative business into our arena. And then if you go to an event that has a guest of honor, of course, we always show honor to the guest of honor. Those rules are on page 10. Page 11, I do have some marvelous rules for helping you to remember people's names. Number 1, repeat the name back right away. Number 2, following repeating it back, use it in conversation a couple of times so that it starts to kind of set in with you. Number 3, make an association. I met somebody whose name was Mary. Right away I said, oh, Mary, I'll remember your name. I have a sister whose name is Mary. You can also observe an outstanding feature. I met Mr. Longus. He had long legs, so I put it in my memory bank, wrote it on the business card. Mr. Longus has long legs. And then if the name is unusual, you can ask for the correct spelling. And again, ask for the business card, and you can write down information after that. Again, additional information there. I want to talk about now conversation. So page 12, because once you go to these events, again, we haven't gotten to the food yet, but you are trying to jumpstart conversations, get to know them. If you look at conversation as being a ladder, L-A-D-D-E-R, number 1, you will look at the person. That means you're giving them your undivided attention. You will A, ask appropriate questions. Inappropriate questions include, how old are you? Are you pregnant? What happened to your face? How much money do you make? What political group are you with? What religion are you with? You stay away from politics, religion, anything that is too personal. Best way to start a conversation is tell me about. Tell me about your business. Tell me about your family. Tell me about a book you're reading, a place you've traveled to, and then we listen and we can ask additional questions once we have listened. The first D stands for don't interrupt. Let them finish. Count to yourself 1, 2, and then you can interject your new thought. The second D is don't abruptly change the topic. Now, excuse me. We let people finish their thought. But if they are talking in a derogatory or an inappropriate way, it is perfectly fine for you to say, I don't feel comfortable talking about that, and then quickly change the subject. If a person is gossiping about another person, it is perfectly fine for you to say, I'm surprised you would say that. They think the world of you, and trust me, they'll never gossip to you again. The E is for empathize. That means to share the feelings of another person. If the person you're working with said they just lost their dog, you don't say, oh, well, not a kid, just a dog, go get another one. No, this is their beloved pet. And so you need to empathize whatever is making them sad, show that empathy, whatever is making them happy, be happy with them. And the R is for respond. Respond verbally and non-verbally. Verbally, we say, interesting, tell me more. Non-verbally, we lean in, we shake our head, and it's telling the person, I'm listening, tell me more. Again, you can read more details about the conversation. There's tons of books, just how to be a good conversationalist. Let me reduce it to one thing. It's not all about you. pay attention to the other person, pick up on what they're passionate about, and then ask them questions about that passion. All right, so we've met our people, we've networked. Now we need some exit lines, because maybe you've gotten with a person and they're just kind of going on, and you're wondering, how do I get away from this? So that's kind of why you do save the food and drink, because you'll use those as exit lines. So at this point you can say, Luke, it's been a pleasure to meet you. I haven't gone over to the buffet table, so if you'll excuse me, I think I'll go check out the food. You can also say, been a pleasure to meet you. I will follow up. Thank you for your card. I think I'll go get something to drink. Third exit line could be, pleasure to meet you. I'll look forward to connecting with you this next week. I do see another person I need to touch base with real quick. So do try to have 3 exit lines to get you out from those conversations that tend to go on and on and on. Now, as we approach the buffet table, there's food, there's drink, there's napkins, and here's a great thing to remember. Always keep your right hand free and clear and dry to shake, once we get to shake hands again, and meet people. If you are holding your cup in your right hand, somebody wants to shake hands, now you're gonna have to transfer it. You're going to give them a cold, wet hand. So right from the start, I have 3 little props. I'll show you what to do. Take the napkin, fold it in half. Everything will be kept in your left hand, keeping your right hand dry and clear. Between my little finger and index or ring finger, I put the napkin. Between the middle finger and index, I put the little plate. This does not work with the dinner plate. This is networking paper products. So I put the plate, then I take the cup filled with water and I pinch the cup. So there you have it. I have my napkin, my plate, my cup. I can temporarily take a sip, put it back, use my napkin, put it back. As you approach the table, do not sniff it. Do not say derogatory things. Do not pile your plate so high it looks like there's a volcano that has exploded. The rule is take 3 things, transfer to your plate, and move away from the table. And then you can always go back and get more. So once you've enjoyed a little bit of the food, you've made those connections, now it's time to depart. And so the last thing that we talk about is post-event. Post-event, you've arrived back to your office, you have all of those business cards, and so you want to first of all take and write down any pertinent information that you listened and you learned about that individual. Do they like to go to Hawaii? How many children do they have? Do they have a dog? Do they like to water ski? I learned this morning that Luke likes to fish. So we were talking about ice house fishing, which I grew up doing. Luke, I guess, is going to start pretty soon. So you make notes on what interests that person, so that when I see that person again, I can say, how's the fishing going? Where are you having success at? And they are going to feel so marvelous that you remembered their name and you remembered what they like. So take copious notes on those business cards and file them. Depending upon the conversation, you will either follow up every business card that you did receive with an email just saying it was great to connect with you. If you're ever in need of real estate, finding property, please feel free to reach out to me. It's just another little reminder. And if you did say to somebody that you're going to get together for a dinner meeting or possibly a showing, then you're going to go an extra step and you will send them a handwritten note letting them know you look forward to lunch or meeting them for that showing. The handwritten note has almost become a lost art, that you will set yourself apart greatly if you will take time to write those notes. So follow up basically with every contact. That's the last part of post-event. So again, you've gone to this event, you've done your preparation, you have presented yourself very well, and now post-event, you are again following up with every one of those individuals. So if you kind of follow those basic 3 principles, then you will be successful in making meaningful connections. Now, I have 5 things that, this is just a little extra something that I want to share with you as real estate professionals. These 5 things are based on personal experience. My husband and I have bought and sold different houses, and I can tell you exactly how I felt about each one of those real estate professional people. And so there are 5 B's that I would encourage you to go out and kind of just attribute to yourself, your way of doing business every time you go out. And they are: be positive, be respectful, be connected, be constructive, and be patient. The be positive. Well, first of all, what's not to be positive right now in this market, right? We're hearing incredible stories. We're very blessed to live on the lake up here in Forest Lake. And again, we even have real estate people saying, any thought of selling, because there is nothing available. So this is the thing to be positive about, is if you can get property, it will sell. The thing you don't want to be too negative about is that inventory, I realize, is slow. Let me repeat, we are attracted to happy, kind, positive people. So be the most positive person you can be. Number 2, be respectful. You might be dealing with somebody right now and their budget is only $100,000. Treat that person as if they had tons of money, because here's the deal, and this has happened. When you treat that person with utmost respect, you take all kinds of time to help them to find the perfect property, you're respectful to them, they could inherit multiple millions 2 weeks down the road from an uncle they didn't know had money. And all of a sudden, because you were so kind, you were patient, they're going to come back to you and then find that mega mansion. So don't base how you treat people on money, because things can change very, very quickly. Number 3 is be connected. I remember reading in a business etiquette book, and it made a profound impact on me. What people want is more information. They want to be kept in the loop. And so whether you are keeping somebody in the loop regarding the sale of their house or finding them a home, yes, it takes extra work, but they will appreciate it because they just want to be connected. They want more information. Where are we at? So do everything you can to just give daily or, weekly, whatever, make a arrangement with them. Also find out how they like to stay in touch. Do they like phone calls, emails, text messages? I try to always ask that when I'm dealing with people. How do you like to stay in touch? Because everybody has a different preference. So do find that out. Number 4 is be constructive. You can provide constructive feedback without being critical and offending people. And we had a lovely home on 3.5 acres in Illinois when we were moving up here to Minnesota. And I thought it was decorated quite nice. And this particular real estate person, the minute she stepped in my house, she started saying, well, that needs to come down and we're going to change this. And I was really horrified. I was like, is there anything right with my house? Well, do you think that I ended up signing up with her? No, because she didn't provide constructive feedback. She just came in and was very critical. And again, we stay away from people that are critical. We just don't want to be around them. We don't want them criticizing our kids, our home, or who we are. And so be very careful with that. The last thing is be patient. I honestly know someone right now that has shown potential buyers looking for lakeshore property, and they've shown them 30 properties. That's a lot of patience. But again, the payoff can be great. When finally you do hit pay date and you're able to close on that. So that's just kind of 5 extra things as I think about dealing with people in the real estate world that I'd like to leave with you. So let me conclude. I'm not leaving a whole lot of time for questions, but I did make it through everything, which is always my goal. You are a one-of-a-kind person. Today you've been given a beautiful gift. You have breath in your lungs. Hopefully we can all walk and talk and see and hear. I don't take any of those things for granted. It's a beautiful day in Minnesota. You have a purpose for your life. And the most important thing is that you can encourage other people. You can build them up, you can encourage them, and you can do it through good manners and kindness. Business etiquette is very simply this: developing good manners in order to develop good relationships, because it does create good business. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I'm going to turn it to Luke. And if you have questions, I see we have 5 minutes. Happy to answer those.
If you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to unmute yourself.
I have a quick question for Danielle, because she just had to do it. And this is for via Zoom. When you have to leave a Zoom meeting early, is there a polite way to leave the Zoom meeting, or do you just sneak out under the radar?
Are you asking me that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you said Danielle. So
Well, Danielle she messaged me and said she had to leave early.
okay.
So I have a question for Danielle for you. I'm sorry, I worded that poorly.
Yeah. Right, and again, that's why I don't ever manage the meetings, because it's super distracting when people are coming and going. And that's why I kind of had to ask Luke every time I do a Zoom with somebody different, the setup. So I wanted to look where I was. But whoever is managing the meeting, it is very helpful for them. From my perspective, all I see is still shots. The only live person is Luke. Now, if Luke departed, I probably would have been a little concerned. He should have let me know. Otherwise, because I'm not managing, from my perspective, it's okay, but it is good to tell the person who is managing that you do have to leave early.
Thank you.
Hi, Danielle. Thank you for the great reminders. I grew up in a Chicagoland clothing family. It was a very different environment than here. So it's always good to be reminded of that.
Yes,
I do have a question.
Yes.
How do we account for Donald Trump, whom I'm told is a very personable person, one-on-one?
Well, first of all, we do try to stay away from politics and religion, because again, it is a hot button. And so personal feelings about Donald Trump vary from person to person. Here is my personal belief, and I'll tell you this. I believe that who is ever president, because I do believe in the Bible, and it says that we should be praying and we should support the person that is in authority. So my job when Donald Trump was president is that I prayed every day that he would have wisdom. Now, President Biden is now president. So guess what? I now pray that every day he will have wisdom. But we live in a society where I'm telling you, I've never seen politics be such a hot button topic. And so I do tell people, unless you know they're on the same page, don't even bring it up. Don't bring it up.
I agree, and I pray for both of them daily.
Yes, we need prayer. We need prayer in America right now. We need all of us to go out and just kind of keep preaching this message of kindness. Because when we start showing respect and kindness, I think that's how it can turn things around.
Thanks very much.
You are welcome.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Very well. Glad you could join today.
Well, my name's Amanit, and my question is this. How late is too late to call people or like text people or email people? Or how early is too early?
Yes, the typical rule is not before 9 in the morning and not after 9 at night. And that's because we do have people that might work later and will sleep in. And then a lot of people do go to bed 9:30, depending upon their work schedule. So in general, the rule is not before 9 in the morning, not after 9 at night. But once again, here's where you can say to your client, how do you like to communicate and what hours are best? People forget that if you send a text message at 1 in the morning, if my phone is anywhere nearby, I'm going to hear it. And so just be very aware, even text messaging, doing it late at night, you can wake people up, find out what their schedule is and what time is best and what method is best.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Do we have any others, Luke?
It doesn't look like it. I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer Livingston to close us out here.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. I think you had amazing information. I took a lot of notes, and I'm excited that it's recorded so I can also post that for people to see it. I think that the things that you talked about are good for everyone. I'm going to have my kids watch this video too. I think the information that you had goes beyond just professional networking. I think that you had a lot of really good information for anyone in general, even my children. Like you said, I have 3 boys. So when you talked about your boys, it made me think of mine.
Well, you can send them to my house. I do private classes too.
Oh, that's good to know.
And I do have classes, if I can mention this, I still teach classes at the St. Paul Hotel, and I have 3 really fun classes coming up two for kids and one for adults. So
Oh, that's good to know.
just go to
Maybe you can send us your information so we can post that with this recording.
I will get that to Luke.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for being here, and have a great rest of your day.